And recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Ashley, can I have roll call, please?
Melby,
Here.
Jurdy,
Aye, we're here.
Fisher,
Here.
Briggs,
Here.
Cavalier,
Here.
Kressel, Klatt,
Here.
Menard.
Here.
Okay, thank you. This is time for the open forum. If anyone would like to address council on any issue not already on tonight's agenda, may come to the podium. Don, I guess you're up, ahead of the game here.
Okay. Well, it's a nice night, evening outside. We got two new people, not new, but one new one. I want to introduce two people to you tonight that I've been working with, one of them, over the past years on the chamber. Dana Johnson, would you please stand, please? She is the branch manager for Crookston and Climax here in Crookston, and welcome. And she's been managing the chamber as co-managing the chamber, and Mark retired. So, and it's my pleasure also to introduce our new director of the chamber, Janelle Wald. She's our new executive director, and we want to welcome her to Crookston. And all of you have a write-up on her on your desk, so we want to know who you are. So I'd like to have you guys just introduce yourself quickly to her.
Wayne Melby.
Go ahead, Kristen.
I know Janelle. Hi, Janelle.
Henry Fisher.
Clayton Briggs.
Dale Stanbrook, we met earlier. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Ashley Risted.
Corky Reynolds.
Hi, Delane Klott.
Tim Menard. Welcome.
Okay, Janelle, you can come up and give them a few words and so forth. So welcome to Crookston. And we're so happy to have you. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Don, and the City Council and guests for having me today. As Don mentioned, my name is Janelle Wald. I'm the new Executive Director of the Crookston Chamber of Commerce. Formerly, I was the Northwest Private Industry Council Executive Director, which is the local workforce board for Area 1, so the far corner of the state, covering the counties of Polk, Pennington, Red Lake, Roseau, Kitson, Marshall, and Norman. So workforce development is I'm going to just go with behemoth task that touches all things that you're all, very aware of, and assume, have worked on all the big rock items such as housing, childcare, transportation, inflation, and the list goes on. And so what I've found is that my real passion and strength is in business engagement. So that led me to seeking out a role within a chamber. And when the position opened up in Crookston, I was just very happy to apply and really look forward to applying my skill set from quite a large geographic area to a specific city as Crookston. So I'm happy to be here, and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, no presentations. This brings us to the agenda. Does anyone wish to add or remove anything from tonight's agenda? Do I have a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
So moved, Your Honor.
Thank you, Tim. Is there a second?
I'll second it, Your Honor.
Good. Clayton. Discussion. Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Melby,
Aye.
Jurdy,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Briggs,
Aye.
Cavalier,
Aye.
Klatt,
Aye.
Menard.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Moving on to the consent agenda. Does anyone wish to remove anything from the consent agenda? I have a motion to approve the consent
So
agenda.
move, Your Honor.
Thank you, Don. Is there a second?
I'll second, Your Honor.
Thank you, Christie. Roll call, please.
Melby,
Aye.
Jurdy,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Briggs,
Aye.
Cavalier,
Aye.
Klatt,
Aye.
Menard.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. We have one public hearing tonight.
Yes, Your Honor. Item 7.01 is a public hearing on the proposed changes to the Crookston Water Department fee schedule regarding adding a grinder fee to the commercial sewer rates.
Thank you. I'll open this public hearing. Does anyone wish to address the council? Please come to the podium, state your first and last name and address, please. Hearing none, I'll close this public hearing.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I'd like to close the bridge.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's
Forgot
okay.
all about you back there.
That's all right, thank you.
Close the bridge.
Agent logged off.
Thank you.
Don threw me a curveball, see? All right, this brings us to the regular agenda.
Item 8.01 is a resolution regarding a grant application with respects to an airport improvement project.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve
So
this?
move, Your Honor.
Got a motion by Don, second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Henry. Discussion, Corky.
Yes, this is a resolution to employ SCH short L.A. Hendrickson to design and apply for monies for the T-hangar at the airport. There is a project in the works to build additional T-hangars at the airport, and this would be hiring SEH to do the design only at this point. Later, after the design is received and we call for bids, there would be hopefully a construction. But this is simply to employ them to do the application for design.
Thank you. Further discussion? Hearing none, can I roll call, please?
Melby,
Aye.
Jurdy,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Briggs,
Aye.
Cavalier,
Aye.
Clat,
Aye.
Menard.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
Item 8.02 is a resolution regarding a grant application with respects to the automatic weather observation system, AWOS, at the Crookston Municipal Airport.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve this
So
resolution?
moved, Your Honor.
Thank you, Tim.
I'll
Is it-
second it.
Second by Clayton. Discussion? Corky? please.
Yes, the automated weather observation system at the airport is outmoded and outdated, and in order to comply with Federal Aviation Administration regulations, we need to get a new one. In addition, we need to get it placed differently than our present system. This would be an application to MnDOT to receive funding for deciding where it should go based on environmental factors and based on water delineation. And SEH is also qualified and able to do this for us to determine the placement of the new AWAS system.
Thank you. Further discussion? Hearing none, can I have roll call, please?
Melby,
Aye.
Jurdy,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Briggs,
Aye.
Cavalier,
Aye.
Clat,
Aye.
Menard.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
Item 8.03 is a resolution regarding the Minnesota Department of Transportation, MnDOT, Automated Weather Observation System, AWAS Site Selection Planning and Environmental Review for the Crookston Municipal Airport.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to
So
approve?
moved.
Tim, thank you. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Henry. Discussion?
Yes, this is actually enter into a contract with SEH to perform the services we just discussed. There will be a significant change at the airport with this placement. This is essential for pilots who would come into our airport, also for people wanting to obtain weather data. They will do the environmental review, the environmental study, and a delineation if necessary.
Thank you. Further discussion? Hearing none, can I have roll call, please?
Melby,
Aye.
Jurdy,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Briggs,
Aye.
Cavalier,
Aye.
Clat,
Aye.
Menard.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
Item 8.04 is a resolution establishing the procedures relating to the compliance with reimbursement bond regulations under the Internal Revenue Code.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve this resolution?
So move.
Thank you, Wayne. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Delane?
Delane? Guess he was louder. Discussion.
Yes, what this is, is that if in fact we were anticipating or actually going to be seeking bonding to pay us back for any monies we expend on projects for which we would bond, we have to have this resolution in place. We have to have compliance with the resolution before the city could be paid money back for expenditures we've made with respect to projects. Typically, the city of Crookston has not used bonding. We've paid for all the project with funds that we have. But if we wished to be repaid, we need this resolution in place. We need to comply with the steps that are required by the state and the federal reimbursement. We would do this every year, just reinstitute or reauthorize this resolution. Doesn't mean we will bond, just means we could bond if we chose to and be repaid for any monies that we have used to pay for projects.
Further discussion. Hearing none, can I roll call, please?
Melby,
Aye.
Jurdy,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Briggs,
Aye.
Cavalier,
Aye.
Platt,
Aye.
Menard.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
Item 8.05 is a resolution regarding adopting the Polk County All Hazard Mitigation Plan, Your Honor.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve this resolution?
So move, Your Honor.
Thank you, Don. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you,
Clayton?
Clayton. Discussion.
This is a resolution adopting the Polk County Mitigation Plan. If the city were to wish to receive from the state funds or from FEMA funds, we need to be a participant with the county in order to access those funds. The mitigation plan has been designed by the county, taking in all kinds of factors, and participating jurisdictions in Polk County, if they wish to access FEMA or state funds, need to be a participant in the plan.
Thank you.
So,
So,
can I ask, so past issues in which FEMA funding have required or requested, is that affected?
No, this would be okay for past and ongoing, this mitigation plan. So
Okay.
things that may have happened last year
Yes.
or going forward that are covered by this plan would be fine.
Okay, so we needed, or we have to have this in order to do the FEMA
Yes,
funding for last year as well?
yes.
Okay.
so is a hazard the same as a disaster?
Well, no, they're different, but I don't know what a hazard is compared to a disaster.
So I'm just trying to think of how mitigating a hazard. In my mind, that's like an oil spill, or if a train runs off the tracks and there's, some hazardous waste that needs to be managed. But does this also include like high water events? And
Yes, it does.
it does. Okay, thank you.
Further discussion. Hearing none, can I roll call, please?
Melby,
Aye.
Jurdy,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Briggs,
Aye.
Cavalier,
Aye.
Platt,
Aye.
Menard.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 8.06 is a resolution regarding the purchase of an investigation vehicle for the Crookston Police Department with the reserve funds, Your Honor.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve this resolution?
I'll make that motion, Your Honor.
Thank you,
Second, Your Honor.
Clayton and Don. Thank you. Discussion.
Yes, what's involved here is there has been a vehicle that has been forfeited under the DUI, DWI statute. It has a lien at the bank. The police department is able to obtain this vehicle by satisfaction of the lien. The vehicle is proposed to be used in DWI enforcement and investigation by our police department. The funds that are necessary would be to actually acquire the vehicle and clear up title, and then outfit it with the appropriate lights and sirens. The vehicle has a value in excess of what is asked for here. So in terms of finances, it would be a good deal, and it would be appropriate. It's recommended by Chief Selzler. I think that summarizes it, but if you have anything to add.
So this comes out of what fund?
Says it right here.
The DUI?
Yeah, so like Corky said, we have a unique opportunity to purchase a vehicle. It's a 2016 Toyota RAV4, has approximately 50,000 miles on it to use as an investigator squad. You know, what it would be replacing is a 2010 Chevy Impala that is in need of some significant repairs and does need to be taken out of service. So just kind of a little bit more back history. If you remember, this year we purchased an investigator squad, a new 2022 Chevy Equinox that was approximately $30,000. I had planned on purchasing one, again, another investigator squad this year. However, I did remove that from my budget and was planning to add it to my 2024 budget. Come 2024, I think it's safe to say that the cost of that vehicle would exceed $30,000 and availability is obviously very difficult to obtain. So again, I think this is a great opportunity for the police department and the city of Crookston to obtain a vehicle at roughly half the cost of a new squad car. Typically, when we obtain these vehicles through administrative forfeiture, either one, they're not of any quality where we could repurpose them, or two, the lien far outweighs what the vehicle's worth. Like City Administrator Reynolds said, this vehicle approximately market value is about $23,000. We have an opportunity to buy it for roughly $12,500. Because it's not a marked squad car, we'd have to pay tax, license, title transfer fees, everything in between. So, you know, it would not exceed $14,000 all in on this vehicle. And then the second part of that request is to put lights and sirens in the vehicle, which again would not exceed $3,000. Funds for this to pay for it, I actually have 3 reserve accounts available to use at the police department. One, there's an account, a reserve account for police vehicles that has approximately $7,800 in that account available. I also have a DWI penalty assessment fund. So what that fund is when we do sell these forfeited vehicles, as Administrator Reynolds mentioned, that money comes back to us at the police department, which per statute needs to be used for some type or have a nexus to DWI enforcement. That fund has $77,500 available. And I also have a drug forfeiture fund, which same as the DWI forfeiture fund, that money has to be used with a nexus of some kind back to drug enforcement. I have roughly $4,500 in that account. So what I'd like to do is, out of the police vehicle reserve and my DWI penalty assessment fund, purchase the vehicle out of those 2 accounts. And then out of the third account, the drug forfeiture account, I would like to purchase the lights and sirens out of that account. And this vehicle, again, is going to be assigned to investigations. The investigator will be using this squad is a drug recognition expert. That's part of his job descriptions, to show up on scenes, whether it's related to a DWI enforcement, some other type of controlled substance enforcement, to detect impairment, and also for DWI enforcement, as mentioned.
So the vehicle that you sell, where does some funds go?
Excuse me?
The vehicle that you're gonna sell, that, what is it, 2010 Equinox?
Yes, no, a 2010 Chevy Impala.
Okay.
Which the city bought that new in 2010. So there's a couple things we've done in the past. One, that is owned by the city of Crookston. So if we sell that, currently how it's set up is the money would go back into the general funds. Or, as we do often, is we do repurpose those to other departments. So this vehicle does have some service life left to it, however, not for emergency services. So if another department in the city, Public Works, Park and Rec, et cetera, was interested in that, we could just turn that vehicle over to them for some repairs.
Some vehicles are owned by the police department and some by the city, is that?
No, they're all owned by the city of Crookston.
Right, okay.
Everything, yep. So that's what makes it kind of easy to transfer between departments, is currently right now we are using that vehicle, however, I could turn that over to another department because they're all owned by the city, correct? Yep, thank you.
Further discussion? Hearing none, can I have roll call, please?
Melby,
Aye.
Jurdy,
Aye.
Fisher,
Aye.
Briggs,
Aye.
Cavalier,
Aye.
Klatt, Menard.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Moving on to reports. Corky, please.
As always, busy 2 weeks. We had the campground improvement bid opening. We're moving ahead with some options on that. We had 1 or more meetings to discuss the campground. we want to try to implement that, and we've tried to make some changes in the bathhouse so that that could be accomplished. We had department head meetings. As you know, I had meetings with you all individually regarding some issues that we wanted to address. We had firefighter interviews, and Chief Helfstab can talk about that a bit later. We had an EDA and housing meeting out at Valley Tech Park to kind of formulate the direction for this year with the EDA. I had individual meetings with department heads. We had a park board meeting. We had a source well presentation at our department head meeting where we are informed about various options we can have with bidding entities here in the city, where we could use them as a source, and they have already done the seeking of quotes and seeking of potential entities to give us bids or prices for the items we purchase. I've been meeting with Dave Keene and Darren Selzler, and also we met with the Park and Rec Department to discuss contracts. Today we had, Ashley and I attended a webinar on data practices. So we've had a lot of things to do.
All right, thank you, Corky. Darren, anything?
Thank you. I think I mentioned previously at a council meeting that the last vacant position at the police department, we did make that final offer officially. If I think I mentioned last time, there was a hang-up between a couple contracts that we were working through. That would bring us to full staff. We made the final job offer to an Alex Rudnick. Alex is coming to us with 7 years of law enforcement experience. He's originally from the Crookston area, currently lives up in the Kitson County area. So he's excited to move back to Crookston with his wife and daughter. His start date is likely to be like May 25th. So that's exciting to report. We've been extremely busy, especially now with the warm weather, which is commonplace each year. Once it gets warmer, calls for service typically do increase. Patrol has been very busy, just normal, everyday kind of run-of-the-mill things. Investigations very busy, mostly lately with crimes against juveniles. And then either myself or a representative from the police department has attended local or region meetings. We did a Region 1 and 2 cheating, met with the school, Polk County Opioid Settlement Advisory Meeting, Riverview Health we met with, Minnesota Police Chiefs Training Executive Conference was attended, DWI Court, and we had some social media and police reserve advisory meetings in-house. So, yeah, if there's any questions? Thank you.
Thanks, Darren. Shane?
Evening. I guess the first thing Corky brought up there was the hiring, and the update on that is actually today, the one applicant that we had has actually turned it down. So we are now going to go back to the process. We're going to reopen the applications. We're going to let that run for a couple of weeks, and then we have an interview date that will be set. There was a little hang up with a couple of things with interview processes on the last go around here. So we are going to go ahead and make a hard date on that just so everybody can get their schedule situated. And I'll keep you updated on how the process goes. High water right now, I guess on good news, looks like the river is going down. So I'm thinking we should be in the clear. We're going to watch the rain, we're going to watch precipitation and stuff like that. But for right now, everything looks pretty solid. And with that, bear with me, this part's going to take a little while, but I want to thank all the department heads. Your assistance and willingness to participate was huge. It took my nerves and put them at ease. It built a lot of confidence for me, knowing that I got a lot of people that I can rely on. But I also want to say thank you to the council. Your participation in the CERT training, your involvement when it came to these command posts. Leading from the front is a big deal, and you guys stepped up and did that, and to me, it's invaluable. So I want to thank you for leading the charge on that, especially in the preparedness aspect. That's just got to speak for all citizens, knowing that we have people in this room that are willing to step up and take that charge. I got to thank Jake and Scott, Park and Rec Department. They worked with the Sentence to Serve staff. We actually had 2,000 sandbags that were ready to rock at a moment's notice. We'll get those out of your storage shed as soon as we can, pal. Thank you to Brandon and the Public Works staff for everything they did. This was not a full-blown event, but at the same point in time, that Public Works staff was running 24-hour shifts. While everybody else was maybe a little uneasy with the way that river was working, they were out there 24 hours a day monitoring everything, making sure everything was up to snuff. They had, for some reason, to throw a water main leak on top of that. I don't know if they were just really motivated or what, but they took care of that, and it was seamless. They were out there doing everything they could, so I can't thank them enough. Brandon, I think finally you said he caught up on some sleep, so it's a good thing. But thank you to the Public Works staff for that. I got to thank Jody Beauchesne, who is the Polk County Emergency Manager, and Blake Carlson. Those guys, between those two and Brandon, that's who my phone was either calling or was ringing from. Jody and Blake gave me a lot of information, whether it was water in the water, snow in the watersheds. We were getting reports back on that, things throughout the county within the with the river. It was fantastic having all that information to come in and be able to make decisions based off of that. So just a huge thank you to them. Also a thanks again to Zach Governale and to Brandon for some of the reconnaissance work that they did on the river when we were checking the ice and seeing where it was located, how it was fluctuating with the water levels. It was invaluable. So with that, I did spend enough time in the EOC to start to look at some of the modifications that we can do in there. I think there's some technology that we can better utilize. I've talked with Chad a little bit about that, and we've got a little bit of plan, nothing groundbreaking, but there's just gonna be some tweaks and stuff that we're gonna do to help maybe with the operations of that. And once it does, when we do have to activate it. With that now, I guess we're kind of going back and doing after-action reports. So Dave Lassard was in, and him and I have already conversed a little bit about some of the storm gate maps and just some of the lists that those public works guys have to go off of, getting that kind of streamlined. There was some old terminology in there that people in this room might recognize, but some of our new employees, when we had where a gate valve was, they had no clue what we were talking about because it's a landmark that hasn't been there for 10 years. We knew where it was, they didn't. So we're updating all that just so everybody's on the same page. When the water does go down, we are gonna try and we're gonna canvass the area and all the levees, check some of the areas, check the riverbanks and stuff like that, just to see what potential damage, even with the way the river did come up, just to check, see if there's any areas for concern that have been there previously, just to kind of check on those. And that's gonna end up being an annual basis thing, just so we can keep documentation, just to see how things progress year in and year out. And I guess the last thing is we're looking at, we're gonna set up a time for a simulated activation. We didn't do it this year, but with all the council being able to get into the command posts, I'd really like to see that evolve, where we can activate our EOC, activate our command posts, just do it on an evening. Everything we got really does look good on paper, but it's one of those things where when we actually put it into action, that's where them little troubled bubbles, everything comes to the surface, things that we can work through. So, and doing it in a controlled environment instead of when stuff's hitting the fan, I think is gonna be advantageous. So I'll keep you aware on that, and we'll see when we can get that to progress. That's all.
Jane, has there been any more conversation about like enforcing those levies or making them taller? Because I know what we hit at 29 something last year, and most of our levies are at 27. I mean, is there anything with FEMA or any funding to like try to protect us a little bit more?
There is. It's kind of in its inception stage at this point in time to see, because like I guess I had stated that, at 27 feet, we're kind of full tilt. So
I think, aren't our levies certified at 30, 31?
our neighborhood levies are. but all of our low-lying areas where we would have to do our protective measures of sandbagging or claying, all of those are between 26.5 and 27.5 feet.
Okay.
So it's really an on-off switch if we have to do something. But
We
that's
know they
a,
get higher than that now, so.
but it's a conversation Brandon and I have been talking about it a little bit on trying to figure out if we can take a mitigation plan and make it fluid, where if a projected crest is 27 feet, what are we gonna do? At 28 feet, what do we have to do? At 29 feet, at 30 feet, what do we have to do? And we're gonna try and lay all that out, so it's almost just kind of like a template right now of what we can do and what we would have the capabilities of doing, but then at the same point in time, taking steps to maybe figure out how to make it either a stepped levee protection, but right now it's really in the incipient stages.
Okay.
Thank
All
you,
right,
Shane.
thank you.
Ryan, anything tonight?
As Corky said, we've had several different meetings this past couple of weeks. Spent some time this past couple of weeks with the Minnesota League going through some of the issues that we've had. EDA meeting, campground meeting, park and rec meeting. Also with the legacy dollars for Thief River, they're done, so I'll be submitting that in. The airport did the pre-award work paperwork on that. Ellers worked with Patrick, Corky and I to get that finished up. Also been working with Wayne Lamoureux with FEMA on our FEMA project that was denied, and now we are doing an appeal, so he's helping us rewrite that and kind of more questions. We are at the labor hours and the equipment hours. They want more specific information with that. John Roscoe with Miller McDonald, we started auditing. Actually, Carla, the finance director on East Side, she was over, and we started going through some of the accounts to start that auditing process and turning some of those sheets into Miller McDonald now. The GASB 75 report, I finished that, so he already has a copy of that, and that has been certified. That's all that I have.
Thank you. Chad, anything tonight, please?
We are nearing completion of our overall city technology network upgrade. Our new storage is online, our new servers are online, our new switches are online, and I just worked with our managed service partner to bring our 18 wireless access points online. So we are about a week out from completion. Any questions?
I just want to comment, just for anybody who's listening at home too, the fact that we now have that like emergency alert bar at the top of the webpage is such a added welcomed improvement. It's really nice to be able to refer to them and they're not having to dig through the page and just see all those updates at the top. So I just wanted to commend you on getting that done, and thanks for Shane for putting that actual content together to get it there. But I think those are the types of things that people are wanting to see, so we appreciate it.
Thank you. I forgot to mention our new network connection with Halstead Telephone Company is online and working extraordinarily well.
Great.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chad. Brandon?
Like Shane said, we made it through high water. I'll call it an uneventful event this year for the most part. The only thing that we struggled with was when the river hit 22 feet, the ice came through town. There's 3 manholes on the wet side of the levee. It's on the edge of the railroad from the police department bridge to about Crooks Club. So the ice hit the manhole lid, tore the manhole lid off, and then the river level rose above that lid. So there was a couple houses that backed up in the flats addition because of that. Luckily, when it knocked the manhole lid off, it knocked a rock down in the structure too, so it blocked all that water from going to the north. So we in the event we did get lucky, but I'm gonna put together a plan for a better solution to sealing those lids so that the lids aren't exposed to the ice. So I'm looking into different options, but the lids will be most likely recess down into the structure so that the top of the structure will take the ice hits, but it'll still be sealed. So I'll be bringing something to you guys to resolve that issue once I come up with a game plan for it. Other than that, the guys were on 24-hour shifts for about 4 days. They did a good job. And we're sweeping streets right now, trying to pick up some of the sand. We interviewed for the water position, and I believe he starts on Monday. So our maintenance positions in the water department for now are filled, and we're still searching for a utility director to replace the water superintendent position. So we're almost there. So that's all I got for tonight. If any questions.
Thank you, Brandon. Greg, anything?
No report tonight, Your Honor.
Thank you. Jake?
Thank you. I don't know, most of you probably might know, maybe not, but Cody Brecken, he put in his notice. His last day is going to be May 4th. He took a full-time position with the National Guard. So we currently have the rec supervisor position out for advertising. It's on Indeed, League of Minnesota Cities, our city website, our city Facebook page. Talked to Jordan, he sent it to the U of M, UND, and Northern College. So the deadline for that to apply will be May 5th. And then hopefully the following week, the week of May 8th, we'll start some interviewing processes. Park maintenance, we did start building those dugouts that we talked about last week, or not last week, I'm sorry, a couple weeks ago at our last city council meeting. So the frames are up and they're gonna keep going on that. Also, we'll be working on Carnfield this week with some of the nice weather. We're gonna get out there and start getting it ready for high school ball. The Carn Classic is this weekend. And then tennis nets are up and they're ready at Eklund. So the high school has tennis nets outside, and so they'll be practicing over there as well. Campground, Corky kind of mentioned it, but we do have the bathhouse for bid, out for bid right now. We will be opening up a bid on May 3rd, and hopefully bringing some good information, some new information to you guys, to all of you on May 8th for council. And then just a reminder that registration is open. It's been open for 2 weeks now, so get out there and register for all your summer activities. So that's all I have.
Where are we at on that arena project with the
ducks and everything.
yeah, that plan that's going on
What
out
I
there?
requested.
The wired
The
plan.
wired.
You guys requested, I sent everyone an update through an email.
It would have been last week.
Yep.
You sent it.
Everyone got an updated, I sent it right away Tuesday morning before we had our department head meeting.
Okay.
Do you want to just share a little bit about that, just for everyone?
It's just a rundown of what they're gonna be doing the month of April leading into May. And then roughly the second week of May, he'll come, or Josh, his name is, he'll come out and he'll sit down with myself and probably Scott, and he's gonna go over everything that he's done, the project, everything that he found possibly wrong. So I will get a detailed information on how the project and what the project, how it's done and everything. So, but an email, I did send out an email.
Yeah, I got it.
So,
Jake, once everything is fixed, if you will, be interesting to see what the electricity bills and those types of things
Yes.
look like,
Yep.
and see if there's any significant
and we won't
change.
necessarily, I mean, I can through the summer, but you know as well,
But,
like,
yeah, I mean-
once October hits, we start
Yeah.
firing up the compressor.
I just like to see a comparison from last year to this year,
Okay.
once that's gone through, just
Yep.
to make sure that it's making a significant difference, if anything.
I can definitely get that for you.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jake. Gary?
Few updates. We have a meeting out at Valley Tech Park at 1 o'clock on Wednesday. And we're going to have a presentation from the marketing department from the University of Minnesota. So we're excited to see that. Their assignment this semester was to take an overview of all the different entities in Crookston and see what's slipping through the cracks. So we don't want to reinvent the wheel and do what other departments are doing, but we want to find out what they see. So it'll be interesting to see what students have to say about how we can market Crookston better and work towards that. So everybody's invited. It's going to be at 1 o'clock out there. We've invited, I think, City Council and we have the Chamber of Commerce. And welcome aboard, Janelle. And we've invited the Visitors Bureau and anybody else who's interested, I think. So you're welcome to join us just to kind of see what they have to say, and then maybe that'll get a good conversation started. Also, Tim Frober, Greg, myself, Kami, we went and toured the diocese property down there, that 20 acres, and I was really grateful that the guys came to kind of look at it and see what shape that property was in. We were surprised that that larger building is in very good condition for something built in the 50s. They have about 20 acres out there, so that is on the market, and you can talk to Cindy over there at the diocese, and she's kind of got all more of the information. Or we do have some paperwork in my office if somebody's interested in that property, but we'd like to see some development happening out there. And other than that, I think I'm pretty caught up. Any questions?
Where's the meeting going to be on Wednesday?
1 o'clock.
Is it going to be out?
At Valley Tech.
At Valley Tech Park.
Yeah.
That'll be past Dr. Al Fathal's marketing department will be presenting for us, sir. Yep.
I just want to say we were at the EOC Ward 1, which is also Oak Court, and I just want to say that, you know, the improvements you guys are doing down there look really good. And
Doesn't that look nice?
yeah,
Thank you.
I think the residents really appreciate that, so good job for doing that.
Yeah, the morale's really coming up over at Oak Court. It looks nice, and they're having, we want to thank the community, different people from the community and different like churches and organizations have been coming in and doing pancakes and doing grill outs. And so we're really thankful for the community to get involved over there with our Oak Court residents, and it means a lot to them. And then we've also done some renovations out at Valley Tech Park and trying to get that out of the, 80s. And so we've slowly got rid of most of the pink, purple, and maroon, but a little bit to go. So any other questions?
Thank you, Carrie.
Thanks.
Okay, start with Tim tonight, anything?
Nothing.
Thank you.
Unless somebody wants ice, I have tons of ice in my backyard. That's it.
Has it got a little grit in it too?
A little bit, yeah, a little extra fiber.
Okay, thank you. Delane?
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Thank you. Don?
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Thank you. Clayton?
I'd like to thank the fire department for the second CERT training. It was very interesting and made me feel a little better on how things are done. And also I noticed street sweeping. I wouldn't want to be the guy inside that sweeper because she was dustier than heck around there this afternoon. But thank you, Brendan and Shane. Appreciate it.
Henry?
Nothing for me today.
Thank you. Christie?
So I attended the CERT training, which I think a few of the council members did, and it was really good to just have the volunteers there. I appreciated, and I really love to see this go forward, having the two wards together to really kind of help pump up the support for the EOC. So great job on Shane's part in getting that together, and it was really kind of nice to meet some of those other ward members from Ward 2 to do that. We had the Park and Rec meeting last week, and very similar to what Jake had said, we fortunately Cody Brecken is leaving, and I think that'll be a big loss for us, and hopefully we can find somebody who will do an equally good job. And it sounds like they're coming along the numbers are looking good so far for the summer program, so that's good. I also had the opportunity this last weekend to utilize the CSC turf in one of the rinks, and I just feel like that's such a gem for the city, and I'd really like to see more advertising and that utilized more, because I think it's just something that is probably a little known gem of the city. So I talked to Jake a little bit about possibly some ways we can market that a little bit better to get more usage out of that, because if the lights are on anyways and you got the employees there, we might as well be capitalizing on that for revenue. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Wayne?
Just a reminder, May 8th is our next council meeting, right? And that's the start of cleanup week. So nudge your friends and neighbors there to get their stuff ready. And, some of these blighted places or your excess ice, maybe they'll take that, I don't know. But,
He has to get it out to the curb.
it'll shrink a little bit from now and then, but anyway, just to remind everybody that if they have any questions on stuff they want to leave out, that they can call whom? There you go.
And while you guys put something out again on the Facebook page, I know that you guys put out something like a week or two ago. Okay.
All right, thank you, Wayne. I'd like to thank United Way for their donation to Park and Rec. Cody Brecken's moving on. I wish him the best. You'll still be a fixture here, so. Shane, department heads, it's great being proactive. Maybe that's the ticket, that be proactive with the sandbags that are stacked or stocked, and moving ahead, we won't have these high water events. It was a year ago, I think yesterday, that we were crazy around here, so. That's about all I got. Just a reminder, there's no, Janelle, thank you for being here tonight, and thank you for the opportunity to visit with you today, so welcome. Just a reminder, there's no Ways and Means tonight, so if nothing else to come before council, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.